Hello, good evening, and welcome to Glasgow Raiders Nation podcast live, guys. It is the final word. It is 9:05 on a Sunday night. Another Sunday night, guys. Another depressing Sunday night after a very good Thursday night. You know, it seems like a kind of Groundhog Day-esque, experience, isn't it? For being a Rangers fan, we seem to be stuck in a cycle, a real cycle of just, great performance and then shocking performance and then a good performance and then another shocking performance. I genuinely don't get it. I just genuinely struggle to kind of get my head around what is going on with this team at this moment in time. How can a team that so conclusively outplayed Celtic on Thursday play 70 minutes of a game like that today? And to be fair, it was 70 minutes of a game. It wasn't it wasn't a 90-minute poor performance. It was a 70-minute poor performance. It really genuinely was. It was piss poor. It was not good enough. It was just absolutely shocking. And you look at it and you kind of just think, where was Thursday? And I don't know about you, but I don't know about you guys. We'll get to your comments in a minute. I don't know about you, but I sat and I watched the game when I got home because I was at work, and I listened to the game on the radio at work actually. So I had the BBC Radio Scotland on. I was listening to the game. I was actually with DJ Lenky, Kev, giving him updates on the score. I've got to say, first 20 minutes, I thought we were absolutely excellent, absolutely fantastic. I thought the performance, the first 20 minutes, I thought, yes, fabulous. We've moved on. We've learnt. We're going to become a new consistent force. We're going to become that aggressive, passionate, full of guts, full of heart, attacking team that we saw for 90 minutes against Celtic. We're going to see that all the time now. And did we see that? Did we bollocks? I mean, genuinely, did we bollocks? I mean, it was just awful. 70 minutes, after the first 20 was just appalling. It was genuinely appalling. We gave that game away. We genuinely gave that game away. The game was there for the taking. The game was there to be won. And the first 20 minutes, I thought we were excellent. We were absolutely excellent. We were very good going forward. We were aggressive. We were attacking. We took the game to Hibs, 2-0 up inside, pretty much in 15-20 minutes. And then we kind of just stopped playing, gave up, kind of said, well done, job done, that'll do. And we kind of sat off them, and we let them have the ball a bit more, and we kind of sat off them a bit more, we got deeper, and we seemingly were content with playing for a 2-0 victory, and we were content with the 2-0, get back to home, job done, up the road, and let's get out of here. Which is not what we should be doing. When you go 2-0 up in a game like that, you should then kick on and go for the absolute, throw the absolute kitchen sink at them. Absolutely go for them, big style. But we didn't, did we? We just kind of stopped playing. And I think CJ Novo was 100% spot on with what he said in his videos, which was Rangers sat 5 yards deeper after that. We went 2-0 up. We sat 5 yards deeper. We let them have the ball. We gave the impetus away. And if that's the manager telling the team just to sit and hold the position, hold the game, then that's a sin. It really is. That is really dreadful. It really is absolutely dreadful. It was just 70 minutes where we kind of took our foot off the gas. We let them back into the game. We made a very average Hibs team look decent, and they, you know, were very, very decent, very, very decent, you know, but made to look that way by us, really were. Get some comments. Dado says too many passengers at Ibrox stealing a wage. Yeah, I've got to agree. There's a lot of passengers in that team. You know, there is a lot of passengers in that team. There really is. Agree with that. Derek says 1-up inside 4 minutes, second in 15 minutes, then chucked the game. Yeah, I agree. We did chuck the game. We did chuck the game. Definitely. Lost one league match in 10, same as Celtic, just drew too many. Celtic 25 points, Rangers 21 points over 10 game spells. The Airwolf. Terrible defending today. I've got to say the defending was absolutely shite today. It really was. I don't know why. I need to. Sorry, yeah. It seems to have defaulted to the wrong thing. It seems to have turned my microphone off. 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to mute it, and I'm going to try and. Hey guys, hopefully that's better. Hopefully that's a bit better now. We've changed the microphone. I don't know what happened there. We've defaulted to the wrong microphone. Yeah, so CJ&I says in the live chat, he said, I'm not angry, just disappointed. Iggy did look good though. He certainly did. 100%. Away form's been an issue since Gerrard. Absolutely. I'll be honest with you. You kind of, I don't know. I really could have predicted. You could have kind of predicted this, couldn't you? You really could have predicted this. You know, that we'd have that outstanding performance against Celtic, and you know, suddenly we then put in this very poor performance, another poor performance. You know, really, really bad performance. You know, it really is just not good enough at this moment in time. It really is not good enough. And look, I mean, 70 minutes of just helter-skelter, poor play after 20 minutes of outright dominance, 20 minutes of absolute class, 20 minutes of proper play. Out with the first 20 minutes, our passing was terrible. Again, our weakness at set pieces was glaringly obvious. Absolutely, 100%. A Celtic fan said to me, rather have Kyogo than Hamza. What do you think? I think he's talking shit. Hamza's a lot better player. We'll talk about Hamza in a bit. Pure and simple, they fucking blow it today. It just makes the win on Thursday seem hollow now. Look, I'll be honest with you, it kind of does, doesn't it? It kind of does. You know, it kind of makes the whole performance look just genuinely poor. It kind of makes that Thursday performance seem just irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant for me. You know, a game that we should have done wrong, a game that we should have, you know, used as a turning point in our season, but we didn't use it. Thrown away, you know, very, very I've watched quite a few of the reaction pods since I've got home from work. I've watched David Edgar. I've watched Club at 22. I love Club at 22. I've watched a lot of different pods, and I've got to be honest with you. You know, we are becoming a team that can get up for one-off games. We're becoming, in a way, kind of like a little bit Aberdeen-y, in a way. That we suddenly turn it on when we need to against big teams, and then kind of turn it off against the shit teams. I think the problem we've got at Rangers is very, very simple. I think the issue we've got is the players are so set up to play in Europe. They're so set up to play to play in a certain way. They're so set up to just be a team that when they've got time on the ball, when they've got time to play. Mike's still cracking. Where's the mic still cracking? Is your mic cable? I don't know what the fuck is wrong with it tonight, guys. Let's have another look at this. It should be the right microphone now. Just mess with this. Hopefully that might be a little bit better, maybe. Is that any better, guys? Let me know in the live chat. Is that any better now? Is that any better? Let me know. Is that better than it was? Please let me know. Where was I? Yeah, perfect. That's better. Right, okay, good. Right, so look, I mean, you look at the performance today, and it's again a case of frustration, absolute downright frustration for me. We've got to get away from this just awful away form. It's the away form that is costing this club massively this season. But ironically, the away form in Europe is actually quite good. We went to Olympiacos, got a draw. We went to Malmo, got a win. We went to the south of France, Nice, got a win. What's really ironic is we probably will go to Dens Park on Thursday night, drop points, and then the next time we play away, we'll go to Manchester, we'll go to Old Trafford, and we'll probably get points off them, either beat them or get a draw with them. I mean, that's this team all over. It's so Jekyll and Hyde. It is absolutely incredible. It really genuinely is. I mean, I'm going to share this with you guys. I mean, have a look at this. This is Scott, it's a great question. I'm going to get to that. 100% going to get to that. I just want to share something with you. This is Rangers, the actual home form. We have the best home form in Scotland. We have, along with Celtic, we have the best home form in Scotland. This is the away form league table. Okay, this is the away form league table. So this is the Scottish Premier League table just based on away games only. So on away games only, Celtic are top with an 80% win ratio, 18 points from 10. Their only defeat obviously was against, so they're 25 points from 10 games, averaging 2.8 points per game. Dundee United sits second on 16 points. Aberdeen third, considering what a shit run they've been on. Hibs fourth, Motherwell fifth. Rangers sit sixth in away form. Sixth. Okay. 33% win percentage away from home. 33%. This is before today's game. This is before the game against Hibs today. So that would go then with the goals for 12, the goals against 13. So still a negative 1 goal difference. Still would be sitting down in that 6th position. Still would be very poor. You look at the overall away record this season, and adding on the Hibs game today, played 10, won 3, drawn 3, lost 4. So we've only won 3 out of 10 of our away games. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. I mean, that is just appalling. I mean, most Rangers managers would get the bullet for that away record.
They absolutely would get the bullet for that away record. I mean, can you ever imagine a Walter Smith team with that appalling away record, a Dick Advocat team, an Alex McLeish team, a Graham Souness team having that awful away record? Could you imagine it? It just would never happen. It just would never happen. So the away record is appalling. Now, if you look at the poor away performances, I mean, the last 3 away performances, we've taken 2 points out of 9. 2 points out of 9 in our last 3 away games. And they were against St Mirren, Motherwell, and Hibernian. 3 games that realistically you should be taking 9 from 9 from. Especially if you've got any sort of kind of aspersions of kind of moving on. And Mays, this is a great point for Mays that I was going to come to. Beat me to the punch. Considering the budget we have, that is a damning statistic. Absolutely, it is a damning statistic. Considering the fact that our squad is worth so much more, we spend so much more than the teams around us, to be that bad away from home is just shocking. It is absolutely shocking. Now, if you look at the away games that we've kind of messed up in, that we've blown, forget the Celtic game from it. Let's take the Celtic game out of it. Yeah, that's the irony, Alan. That is the irony. Clement isn't beaten away from home in Europe. The irony, absolutely. But, I think we can all see that this team is so set up to play in Europe. This team is very much a European team. The way we play in Europe, if you sat down someone who didn't know Scottish football, didn't know who Rangers were, I mean, you'd have to go a long way to find somebody, and you showed them a video of Rangers Nice and a video of Rangers Tottenham, and then you showed them a video of Rangers St Mirren, Rangers Motherwell, and Rangers Hibs, they wouldn't think it was the same team. They think it was 2 different teams, completely 2 different teams, because of the performances, because of the caliber of the performances. Now, for me, the difference is that when it comes to playing in Scotland and it comes to playing against the likes of Hibernian, Aberdeen, Dundee United, Motherwell, St Mirren, the big issue is we just don't have the players, with the exception of Nicholas Raskin, with the aggression, the physicality to come through those games. Now, if you look back to when Rangers were a successful team and were winning things, even under Gerrard, the 55 title, we had players that were capable of mixing it, players that were capable of getting stuck in. We had central defenders who liked to header the ball, who liked to get stuck in, who liked to kick and punch and fight. Under Souness, we had the likes of David McPherson, we had the likes of Terry Butcher, Terry Hurlock, Graham Roberts. We've had the likes of, going back across time, Big Ammo, Rickson, Gattuso, players Richard Goff, Colin Hendry. We've had players who, have realistically liked the fight, liked, to get the aggressive side of things, the fight. Let's get stuck in, let's kick, let's foul, let's get in there and give them as good as we get, and in Scotland, to some extent, you need a core of players who are willing to be physical, who are willing to be aggressive, who are willing to get in your face, who are willing to be, those players that can handle the physical pressure that comes with Scottish football. If you look at the difference between Scottish football and European football, and you look at our Europa games and you look at our domestic games, in Europe, we get time on the ball. We get teams that sit off us. We get teams that come and play football against us. We play football against them, and it's quite a nice football game. In Scotland, you get a team that will come, put 10 men behind the ball, will kick you, punch you, shove you, bite you, pinch you, spoil the game, fall over, time waste, kick, scream, claw, do everything they can to stop a game of football from breaking out. And the one thing that Rangers don't have is the physicality that when it gets down and dirty in the trenches, we need to get down and dirty in the trenches. We need to have the fire to fight the fire. And to me, we are severely lacking in that fight, in that physicality. That's what I'm lacking. That's what I'm not seeing. Going back to Scott's question here. Scott says, who would you blame for today, Phil or the team? Right. I mean, that's difficult because of the fact, it's difficult to know who to blame, because I don't know who gave the instructions. I don't know who told the team to take their foot off the gas, who told the team to sit back and not go after Hibs. Now, if that comes from the manager, then that is a damning statistic, because, you know, if you're 2-0 up against Dortmund, or 2-0 up against Madrid, or 2-0 up against Manchester United, or 2-0 up against Tottenham, or 2-0 up against Lyon, or against Atletico Madrid, then yes, fine. Sit back, defend, stick 10 men behind the ball, hold on to your lead. But we were playing Hibs today. We weren't playing Borussia Dortmund. We weren't playing, you know, Manchester United. We weren't playing Arsenal or Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid. We were playing against Hibernian. And in that position, you need to do what great Rangers teams of the past have gone, which is take that 20-minute start, multiply it by at least 4 or 5, and play for the entire 80, 90, 100 minutes of the game. You know, go for it. Put them to the sword, like the great teams did under Sir Walter, like the teams did under Graham, like the teams did under Big Eck, like the teams did under Dick Advocat. Do it properly, but don't give them the game back, which we certainly did in that game. Let's get to some more points. Sort of waveform out, we aren't far away. I mean, that will be true. It is true, but you kind of look at it and you kind of say, well, who is that? Who is causing the issue away from home? Is it solely the players on the park, that they're not good enough to be able to compete, you know, with it? Or is it down to the manager? Is it down to how the manager sets the team out? Is it down to how the manager asks the team to play? Now, I thought today he was slow on his substitutions. I thought he could have been quicker. I thought he could have wrestled the impetus away from them a little bit better than he did. You know, when we went 3-2 up, you know, he kind of makes the wrong decisions yet again. And we're kind of hanging on again at the end. You know, rather than continuing to take the game to them a little bit, you know, which we started to do again, he kind of sits off them again. He brings Bowen on for Cheney, and it all kind of falls apart. You know, excuse me. Read a lot of comments saying you can't blame Clement for today. Sorry, but the game management, the defensive coaching is abysmal. I mean, yeah, the defense is not great. Excuse me. The defense is not great. I mean, realistically, the defense today did cost us. The defense was really, really poor. And yes, it is look, it's a makeshift back four. So, you know, a makeshift back four that were good against Celtic. You know, Ridvan, Proper, Sterling and Hiefte. Now, I'm sure if you'd asked any of us, the vast majority of us would have wanted the same team to play that played against Celtic. And that's what Clement did for the first time in a long, long time. But today, the back four couldn't handle the physicality. They couldn't handle the way that Hibs played. They couldn't handle the set pieces. I mean, that is a massive issue. We gave away 10 corners against a team that are really good at set pieces. Where's the logic in that? I mean, our defending of set pieces is absolutely shocking. I mean, how are they coached to mark at set pieces? How are they coached to pick people up? How are they coached to, you know, there's stuff you can do at set pieces to stop that Rocky Bashiri header. You know, there's little nudge on the player as he goes to jump, a little nudge as he takes his run up, you know, stand someone in front of him. There's little things you can do to stop your big guys causing you problems at set pieces. And it's all perfect legal. You can get away with it if you do it in the right way. But we just didn't do it. We just didn't do it. Janet says, I think the only human on the planet to never heard the scene. I don't watch the Squid Games and do this. Alan Austin says, Proper hit the nail on the head recently. He said he doesn't understand a draw away from home being viewed as a bad result. The expectations at Rangers is alien to the foreign players. Yeah, I mean, that is a great point. I mean, I think Clement is kind of the same as well. You know, I think, you know, the whole substitution of Barron for Cheney and shutting up shop at 3-3 and hanging on for a 3, you know, hanging on to try and see the game through. You know, it smacks of little club mentality. And you're right. In Scotland, you know, unless you're playing Celtic, a draw away from home is a bad result. A draw away from home at Pittodrie is a bad result. A draw away from home at Tannadice is still a bad result. A draw away from home at Rugby Park is a bad result. You know, Rangers are expected to go everywhere and are expected to win. That's the expectation. The standard is the standard. The standard at our club is that when we go somewhere, we go to win. We go to win every single game we play in, and a draw is not acceptable. Now, the problem is, I think it takes a bit of conditioning, because you're right. A lot of the foreign players come from teams who, mean, let's take Robin Popper, for example. He played for 20 Eshende. Now, I'm sure if 20 went to Van der Kuip to play Feyenoord, or to the Philips Stadion to play PSV, or to the Amsterdam Arena to play Ajax, or even to Alkmaar, and they came away with a draw, good result. We'll take that. Good result. Good result. Could the team be dropping the keeper due to all the defensive absentees? True. Haji, Hefte, Ridvan, Dio, and Shenny didn't show up today. They didn't. They were nowhere near as good as they were on Thursday. They definitely did not show up today, and it was very frustrating. Looking at the way problem, how the fuck do we fix it when we have the players who should be doing the job? Positive takeaway is we're still stuck with Dessa's just lives. Yeah, true. It's like two different teams, despite being the same team. We went all out against Celtic on Thursday and kind of just jogged today. Agree. Hamza is a shining light. He's the one definitely keep. Big things are going to happen for him. A makeshift back five of those players were on the bench if all fit. Very true. We upped our game to beat the Papes and simply ran out of steam after 30 minutes. Only Igman stayed the pace today. Sid said the players are at fault. Who do we play with in defence? Thursday going to be King if Sterling is out. Like I said many times, Prob's board. Lots of say the same thing. We're becoming a Diddy team under this board. Check our results. Proves to be true. Airwolf says, that's not understanding the club goes back to onboarding players. Guarantee McGregor, Forest are part of telling new players the script. We don't have that yet. These players are not interested in the run-of-mill games. I think that's a good point. Kelly is shite. You got bullied all game. Goalkeeper my arse. Look, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The defence is a massive concern, and it's a real concern for me that we haven't done something about it yet. You know, it's now the 5th of January, and it is and we still haven't signed a striker. We still have a defender. We're crying out for a centre back. We're absolutely crying out for a centre back. We're absolutely crying out for a centre-back. We're crying out for someone to be that dominant force in the centre of defence, to win the ball in the air, to really control the game. And we haven't got it there. So for me, it's a big concern. I'll be honest with you. We should have done something before today. As well as Proper and Sterling played the other day, we should have done something before today. We should have brought in a centre-back. Now, I have got concerns over the budget for January. I've got big concerns over that. I don't really want to talk about that in this video. I will talk about that in a future video. But to me, there is a massive concern going forward that we are not addressing the needs of the league. We are, like I said, we've got a European team. We've got a team that can play well in Europe, but we haven't got a team that can play well in Scotland. We haven't got a team that can do the job, when it comes up against playing the St Mirrens, the Motherwells, the Dundees, the Dundee United, etc., etc. Darragh McAnthony done an interview saying he's chasing sports, see about players being injured, so raise question, why aren't our board doing that? Good question. We need 2 centre-backs, a real playmaker, and another good striker, says Blue Horizon. PC is not getting the best out of these players, says Gordon 1. Is it a Gordon 2? Alan says, Clement waved off questions about transfer policy and says Patrick Stewart will make a statement shortly on what the plans are. That's ominous. I agree, Alan. I'm going to talk about that on another video. So I want to concentrate on the game today in this final word. Let's address some of the bits from this game. Let's address some of the bits of this game. Now, I'm not going to run a man of the match poll on the community tab on the channel this week. Why am I not going to run a man of the match poll? Because for me, there is only one man of the match from today's game. Okay, the only man of the match. I'll get to that point in a minute. This is a great point. The back four lacks leadership. Someone to boss it when not to drop and when not to. Great point from Airwolf. Brilliant point from Airwolf. The back four lacks leadership. It really does lack leadership. It lacks the Richard Goff. It lacks the Terry Butcher. It lacks the Big Ammo. It lacks, to some extent, even Connor Goldson at his best, back in 55, for example, and back in the Europa League run, it lacked that leadership from the back. Not that I'm saying that Connor Goldson's as good as Richard Gough or Terry Butcher. Please don't think that's what I'm saying. But we do lack a leader. We do lack someone at the back who can pull the back four together, who can get the back four moving forward. Now, I think part of the issue is we miss John Souttar. I do think we miss John Souttar. I think, he is a massive presence in this team. If you look at his XG stats, he's the one player who is very good aerially. He's good in the air. He wins a lot of his aerial duels. He's dominant in the air. He puts his body on the line to block. He gets physical. All those things. So, I do think we miss John Souttar. But the one thing I will say about John Souttar is he doesn't come across as a great leader, a great communicator. I don't really see John Souttar shouting, yelling, calling, pulling them up, giving the instructions at the back a lot of the time. I don't see that. Now, Proper was brought in because he was a captain of a Shet 20, described as a defensive leader. Hasn't shown it. Really hasn't shown it. I do think we could do with going to get a good old-fashioned centre half who can, organise this back four, who can be the dominant force at the back, the aerial power at the back. I think if you brought in a top-class centre half, and look, I know I'm not talking about a centre half of the class of a Virgil van Dijk or of a Gabriel or a William Saliba or Antonio Rudiger or Ibu Konate. I'm not talking about a centre half of that class because we can't afford those players. You're looking at 80, 90, 100 million for those players. But somebody who is physical, somebody who is strong, someone who is aggressive, someone who has that leadership qualities at the back. And I've seen here Bruno Maite from Marseille. I don't think he's a leader, though. I don't think he's a leader. So I think what we need is a Scottish centre half or a British centre half who's going to come in, who's going to dominate, and can run the team. Now, John Souttar alongside that player, would be perfect. John Souttar, I think, is like I said, is a huge miss. He is a huge miss. I mean, Balogun to some extent is that leader, is that communicator, is that organizer, is the yeller, the shouter. But he's a bit old now. That's the one downside. Let's have a little look through some more comments from you. Airwolf says Johnny Evans, not saying he's the answer, but would bring leadership. He would. Someone of his ilk, certainly Airwolf would. I just have worries about his age. And his legs and his continuing ability to play at the top level. Given that we were writing Tav off at 33 and we wrote Goldson off at 32. I don't like Proper. I've seen him move out of the way of a shot on goal. Your defender should throw yourself at the ball. Absolutely, Curry. That's what John Souttar does. Watch Souttar. He will always chuck himself in and get stuck in. If PC stays ready to go, Craig Moore is in his defensive coach. That's a decent shout. I saw a rumor about Teddy Sadji wanting to buy the club again today. I mean, major investment is the only way out of our misery. I mean, Sadji's an Israeli billionaire. I mean, that would certainly wind the Celtic fans up, wouldn't it? But yeah, I think, I agree with you. I think we do need outside investment. I think this present board are too busy chasing the pound, chasing the money. They want the money for themselves. And that's why they're quite happy to finish second every season and have a cup run, because as long as they get into Europe and do well in Europe, and make money from Europe, they ain't really bothered about winning. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't think Douglas Park or Graham Park or John Gilligan or any of the board really give a shit about winning the Scottish Premier League or really give a shit about winning the Scottish Cup or the Scottish League Cup. What they want is to get into Europe and to progress in Europe. That's all they want. And if finishing second means we get a chance to get into Europe, they're happy with that because it means they get their money. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day for them. This board are only interested in money. They're interested in the club. They're not interested in being a board that takes Rangers forward. They're only interested in the money and themselves. I think Evans would do a job. King, not the answer at this time. Do you mean it lacks some organisation and aerial dominance plus somebody commanding? I do. Watch Carragher live in the day. He was bossing people about, pointing out where people should be. Yeah, I mean, Carragher was never what you would call a top centre half. I mean, you wouldn't put Carragher in the same breath as the Tony Adamses, Steve Bolds, even Sammy Hippier to some extent of this world. But he was a leader at the back, and he was a man who went, Right, you there, up here, hold this, don't move there, don't do that, stand there, get him. That, he was very much, I think, you pick him up. He was very much that organizer that we don't have at the back. Do you think Clement walking away would make things better at Ibrox? Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that I still don't think he is the man for the job. However, I do think he will be here until the end of the season. I think, as much as I don't think he's the man for the job or he's the right man to take Rangers forward in the long term, I don't believe he will go anywhere. I think he will still be the manager by the end of the season. I think the board have made that clear. I think Patrick Stewart has made that clear. I think they think he's here for the long haul. As much as I would personally get rid of him, I can't see it happening. I've also said now for years the lad King is simply never a centre back. He just cannot jump and head the ball. We have all depended on Butland at the back. We need to build a solid brick wall defence. I've got to say, I thought Liam Kelly was poor today. And I've backed Liam Kelly. I mean, for the third goal was an absolute disgrace. I mean, he's a goalkeeper, for fuck's sake. He should be coming, grabbing that ball, and just going through people. He really should. And he comes, he flaps, he gets nowhere near it, and the ball ends up in the back of the net. Now, I'm not saying he was solely to blame for that goal, because he wasn't. There was a lot of defensive errors around it, but he is partly to blame for that goal, and it didn't help at all his performance and his ability to come and get the ball. It was so bad. So bad. Theo did look lost today. He didn't look the same player, did he? He really didn't. Look, so, I mean, yeah, I thought Kelly was poor today. And I think the back four are a fundamental part of the issue at the club. I think the back four do need addressing. Now, the ironic thing is that our defensive record at home is we've only conceded 3 goals in 10 games at home, yet we've been awful away from home. I mean, I think the defence is still the issue. I think we do need some physicalness in this team. We do need a big physical back four. We do need people who are good in the air. And we haven't got them at the moment. I think Suter is the example that is good in the air. But I mean, one player who I would never have got rid of, who I think could have done a job for us in domestic football, is Lewis Mayo, the centre half at Kilmarnock, who we had. So I think he's a big miss. What else have we got? If Clement was going to be sacked this season, it would happen already, says Mays. Mays, I agree. Look, I've said all along, he is going nowhere before the end of the season. If he is going to be sacked, it'll be at the end of the season. Need some 6-foot rugby players in defence. Yeah, get back to the old Doddy Weir. God rest his soul. Clement should have a proper Scottish assistant who can swap local knowledge and for contingency if he should leave. Good shout. Duncan Ferguson. Balogun is a huge miss for us. Yeah, I mean, I think Balogun gets a hard time. Of course he does at times from some people, but I like Balogun. I think he's a good player. The only issue, of course, with Leon is that he can't play 3 games a week. Those 2 full backs were an absolute embarrassment. That, yeah, they were poor. But then Ridvan is being played out of position. He's not a right back. He's a left back. So, you've got to kind of give him a bit of a out on that one. But yeah, I thought Hiefte was really bad today. Suter, I like Suter. Away form is mental more than anything, possibly. Kenny says the issue, we went back to trying to play out of the box, asking for trouble. We need long balls. I mean, away from home, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mayo goes back to our club, useless with our academy players. Agreed. I mean, Lewis Mayo never got a fair crack at the whip. And like I said, I think, if you look at the way Lewis Mayo plays in Scotland, in the Premier League, then you have got a real player who can get stuck in, who can be physical in the domestic competition. Like I said, I'm not saying that Lewis Mayo is the answer in the Europa League or we go to the Champions League with Lewis Mayo, but the kid could have done something in the Premier League. I firmly believe that. He would have brought the physicality, the know-how, the fire with fire. But he never got a fair crack at the whip, and that's why he went to Killy, and fair play to him. I mean, wishing him all the very best there. Not at the moment, Lachlan. Not at the moment. We'll look into that. We'll see what we can find out. His foot was stood on bidding anything more than this. I mean, the real worry is obviously Thursday night at Dens Park. That back four is going to get even weaker if possible. Tavernier could be back. I mean, that's one downside. But Sterling could be injured and out. Proper is suspended. So who do we play in centre half? I mean, look, if Suter's not fit, which I don't think he will be, Sterling's not fit, and that leaves us with Leon King, Hiefte, Ridvan, possibly Tav back, maybe back, don't know, could be, possibly. I mean, where do we go for centre halves? I mean, please let's not recall Ben Davies. Let's not look at that as the option, because Ben Davies is no better than Robin Proper. Let's not do that. Let's not go there. I mean, as far as I'm aware, or as far as I'm concerned, really, we've got until Thursday to get a centre back. We've got until Thursday to actually go and spend some money and get a player in. Now, whether that happens or not, who knows? But I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen out there, it worries me. I am very worried about Thursday night. Really, really worried about Thursday night. Scott says we really miss Big. We do. I miss Big John Suter. Quality footballer. Good footballer. I like John Suter. I'm a big fan of his, and I think the criticism he gets from the fan base at times is very unfair. Alan, I would love to have Kevin Thompson there, a guy who wasn't afraid to put a tackle in and work hard for the team. Could bring a bit of knowledge. Good shout. Good shout. Defending at the first Hibs goal was defending at all three Hibs goals. John was absolutely criminal. It really, really, genuinely was absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. Just all three goals, we cost ourselves those goals. I mean, the first goal was just awful defending again. Dio gives the ball away. They break on us. They score. We have there's three opportunities in the build-up to that Martin Boyle goal for us to clear the ball, for us to put our boot through the ball and get rid of it, and we don't actually do it in any of those options. The penalty. Well, look, the penalty, I will come to the penalty. And the third goal, the Bashiri one, is just absolute schoolboy defending from a set piece. And Liam Kelly being just an absolute big pansy. What else have we got? Michael says, how can the same players outplay Celtic and do this? This is the frustration, Michael. And I think that's how we all feel. I do, but I don't think he's going to come. I don't think he's going to come. We want to sell Davies, so we're not recalling him. I mean, that's a good thing. Mate, CGM, Keir, Proper can't play. He's suspended. Proper is suspended for the Dundee game, so he can't play. We need a good central defence. We need stronger defenders in this window. We do. Gogic, a few years back, would have made a good signing. Yeah. Gogic could do a decent job, John, as a squad option. I don't think we go there, though. I don't think he fits kind of like the mould of player we're currently going for. But yeah, Proper is suspended for Thursday, so he's out. Yeah, that's a concern. That's a concern. We are away against Dundee Blue Horizon. We are at Dens Park, the only stadium in Dundee that's affected by global warming. Apparently Tannadice isn't. The other side of the street isn't affected, apparently. Literally you can throw a stone from one to the other one and nothing happens. But apparently, you go to Dundee United where it's orange and there's no global warming. You go to the blue one and yeah. And that's a great point, Alan. Raskin is out of the Dundee game. Now that's huge. That is huge. Huge. I mean, Raskin again today, the one shining spark. Captain fantastic. I mean, I'll be honest with you, for me, Raskin has got to be made captain for the rest of the season. I don't think you can give that captaincy back. You can give that captaincy back to Tavernier. I think if you do, it's a mistake. It really is a mistake. So I don't know. I don't know. It is just. Raskin was great today. Again, he drives the team. He tries to drive the team on. He's physical. He gets stuck in. He does all the things we want the 11 other players to do. Kenny says global warming. Okay, that goes back to last season, mate, when the Dundee secretary or the Dundee chairman, I can't remember who it was, tried to put down the fact that Dundee had to repeatedly call games off. Not because of the state of their pitch, but because global warming was affecting the weather and was making it impossible for them to dry the pitch out and get the pitch in a fit, playable state. Yet Tannadice across the road was absolutely fine, and they could and Dundee United played at Tannadice at the same point when Dens Park was waterlogged. He was basically saying it wasn't the bad pitch, it was the weather, and global warming was acting on and causing all this bad rain and this bad weather. Yet Dundee United had no issues whatsoever. So it was clearly the pitch, but he was trying to get away from the fact that it was actually the pitch. I think trying to avoid getting fine points. That's what I mean. Motherwell beat the sheep tonight. Mate, everyone beats the sheep. We need to stiffen up. Absolutely. That's what she said. Who gets the captaincy on Thursday? I mean, May's last man standing. Last man standing. I suppose if Tav's back, he gets it back. But other than that, who the hell do you give it to? I mean, realistically, who do you give it to? If you've got Ridvan at right back, you've got King and another at centre half, you've got Jeff Tay at left back, you've got Dio, Barron, and maybe Hadji because he's the next most experienced player. Dundee will be tough. Yeah, absolutely. It's Thursday night. Good point. Harry's proper suspended if it's a yellow card up. I thought that kicks in after the game. Dundee 7. That's only what I've heard, CGM. That's what I've been hearing on social media. That's what I've been hearing, that he's suspended. I mean, like I said, it might not be true, but that's what I've been told. It might be wrong. Captain Hadji, yeah, that's probably the best option, isn't it? We need a defender that is not afraid to put a solid tackle in without being afraid of getting a wee sore toe. Agreed. Proper shite, he is. Look, I mean, the defense is awful. The defense was awful today. The one positive that you can take from today's game, I believe, was Hamza. Well, Raskin as well. Raskin was good. Hamza, I've got to say, Hamza was fantastic today. Absolutely brilliant. He scores the perfect hat trick, right foot, left foot header. If we go on to win that game 3-1, 3-2, 3-0, I think everyone is raving about Hamza. Everyone is talking about Hamza. I mean, the worry, of course, is the more people talk about Hamza and the more people watch Hamza and the more people that see how good Hamza is, the more chance that we've got of actually losing him at some point very soon, because he looks a hell of a player. I mean, he looks different class. I mean, it's almost like Hamza is single-handedly getting us points in these games where we're playing shit. Hamza was fantastic today. I mean, that's he's gone to 11 goals now this season. He is, I mean, just head and shoulders, light years ahead of Cyril Dessers. The guy is just quality. I mean, you watch him play, his hold-up play is brilliant. His, the way he brings others into play, the way he runs at people, the way he attacks people, the way he showboats sometimes. He's capable of going past someone. He doesn't get knocked off the ball. He doesn't fall over and sit on his arse and moan like Dessers. He's got a first-time finish in him. He's got a control and finish in him. He just looks an absolute talent, and he is the kind of the striker we've been crying out for a hell of a long time. We really have been absolutely crying out for a player of his talent. We really have. Imagine scoring a hat-trick and feeling like you've been mugged off. I mean, that's how Hamza will feel. CGM makes a great point here. Teams will look at Igman. Yeah, absolutely. Teams are going to come calling for if Raskin and Hamza keep playing the way they are at this moment in time, then yeah, teams are going to come and look at them in the summer transfer window, and they're going to come and say, right, we'll give you money for them. We'll give you 20 million for Raskin, 20 million for Hamza. This is what we, unfortunately, as Rangers fans, we're going to have to start to become used to. We all remember the day. Well, we don't all remember the days, but if you're as old as me, you'll remember us having the Laudrups, the Rixons, the Alberts, the Novos, the Gazas, the Goffs, the Yeloviches, the Dado Persos, the just Rena Gattusos, just Arthur Newman, the De Boer brothers. You'll remember us having these amazing footballers and not having to sell them, being able to keep hold of them. Ali McCoist, Robert Fleck, Ian Durant, players of that. Terry Butcher, Trevor Stephen, Gary Stevens, Chris Woods, Alexei Mikhailichenko, these players that we didn't have to sell. But unfortunately, we're now in a different era where we do have to sell these players. And unfortunately, Hamza is one of those players that unfortunately eventually is going to have to go, back. Ricky goes further about that, mate. I'm sure you do. Colin Steen, Willie Johnston, John Gregg. Players of that caliber, mate. I know. 20 million, 5 million, what teams lowball offer us because we have to sell players. I mean, look, the club's got to be strong, mate, on that one. They really have to be strong on that and stand up and say, no, we're not selling. We're not going to sell for 5 mil. You give us 20 million or 15 million, or you're not having him. We've got to start to take, if they are serious about getting the trading model going, then they've got to start to demand big fees like Celtic do for players. 30 million for O'Reilly, 25 million for Jota. You know, they've got to start doing the same as Celtic do. If they're going to compete with Celtic financially, we've got to do it. He is our player, Blue Horizon. But what I'm saying is in 18 months' time or 12 months' time, I think we're going to struggle to hang on to him because English Premier League clubs are going to come calling. And unfortunately, whether we like it or whether we don't like it, the EPL is bigger than Scotland. The EPL clubs are bigger. It is genuinely that's the position that unfortunately we are now in. But Hamza was absolutely superb today. He was absolutely brilliant today. I mean, the finishes today were absolutely first class, and he nearly won us the game. He nearly won us the game at the end. He hits the post, doesn't he? I mean, they hit the post as well, but he nearly wins the game. He really does. He really nearly goes on and absolutely wins that game for us. And he's absolute class. He's a class act. And today he was the one, well, him and Raskin were the two shining lights. He really were. We've got Viewpart Loyal says we need Hamza to get a cap and we'll be able to add a few zeros. Exactly, 100%. 5 million won't get you much in the EPL. He's worth more than that, and he has bags of potential. Agreed. EPL clubs can buy just about anybody. They can, Ricky. They've got money to burn. Bamo Mighty is another Basil Bolly dumpling. Yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about him. I haven't done a lot of research into him yet, so I'll have to look into him. And if we do not sell for Dosh, we sell for a real amount over 25 million due to his potential. Agreed. And a sell-on fee. We can throw Dessers in for free. Hamza is getting a cut from Morocco. You sell him after 2026 World Cup. Yeah, I think, once he's an international, you can get a bit more money for him. But the lad is class act. He is an absolute class act. And he's kind of the one player who's getting us through all this. He's the one player who is really going, who is kind of holding this together away from home and taking us on and been that special player that we rely on because we are, fast becoming what I called a few weeks ago a moments team. We rely on individual moments of brilliance, and that's what we got today from Hamza. 3 individual moments of brilliance. That's a great shout from CGM. Put a buyout clause in his new contract. Absolutely, that's a great idea, mate. Seriously. Yeah, I saw that, John. I mean, it is pretty. Shoplifting's a major problem, mate. The club have to demand a 20% sell-on fee. Yeah, absolutely. Look, Hamza's great. Hamza was fantastic today. Right. Let's get to the most controversial minute of today. Would I sell Hamza for 30 million today? Yes, I would sell him for 30 million because the 30 million that we get we could buy 3 or 4 players, top players. What do we sell? What we can't do is sell Higman and use the money to buy mediocre players. Correct. We need to use that money and use that money wisely. Correct. Right. Okay. So let's talk about the penalty. Right. I've watched it a couple of times now. Hey, Scotty, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you. I've watched the penalty a couple of times. Yes, they do, John. They do. It says a lot when Dessa's never even got on the park today when we needed a goal. Yeah, I mean, that's because he's shit. I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm surviving through tough times. Hamza should be the only player who doesn't feel ashamed tonight. And Raskin, mate. And Raskin. Look, the penalty incident. I can see why it was given. And I don't want to get into this patterns of assistance or anything like that. Okay, I don't want to get into that. We need to stop that. We're sounding like them. I honestly believe that if it's the other way round, and I want you to be honest with me and be honest with yourselves. If that's the other way round, are you shouting for a penalty? And are you disappointed if we don't get it? Because it goes down as one of those, I've seen them given. I think in this modern age, it's a penalty. In this modern game. In the past, in the 80s, 90s, late 80s, early 90s, it's not a pen. It's a coming together. It's a play on. Get on with it. Get up to the pair of you. Let's just play on. Kenny Mack says it was a penalty. The shoe was on the other foot. Unpopular opinion here, but I'm not liking Cheney's attitude, constantly moaning about playing games and asking to come off the park. I don't know how true that is, but possible. Hadji got in front of the player. Their player kicked him. Yes, that is the argument. But you can kind of say, did Hadji barge him first? Like I said, I can see why it was given. At first, I said straight away to my son it was a penalty. Watching it back, no way. But VAR would never overturn it. Unfortunately, it was a I think it was a penalty. Sorry. I think it was a penalty. I'll be honest with you. I think it was a penalty. I think the initial contact from Hadji is what it's given for. And it's stupid by Hadji. He doesn't need to do that. What he should do in that position is get goal side, jockey the player, slow the player down, make the tackle, not go barreling into the player and give away the penalty. So I'll be honest with you. I think it is a penalty. I think it was a penalty. Stuart Allison, Clement should be focusing on the penalty. We were 3-2 up and he couldn't hold on. Agreed. It wasn't, why didn't we get a penalty in the first half when Raskin was pulled down from a corner? I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't think we get a penalty at the other end. I can't answer that question because I don't know. If we're going down the conspiracy theory side of things with the everyone hates us, no one gives us anything, everyone's against Rangers, then yeah, we can say that we probably don't get it. But I'm trying to get away from that. And I'll be honest with you, I think it is a penalty. It's a soft penalty. But it's still a penalty. And I think, like I said, I think a lot of it comes down to Hadji. And you know me, I love Hadji. I'm a massive fan of Hadji's. He's stupid in that circumstance. He goes barreling into that player when he doesn't need to. He needs to stand him up, slow him down, put the tackle in, or just, push him out, push him away from the goal. That's the way we avoid that situation, but he doesn't do it. And that's what costs us the penalty decision. And I think the problem is it gives Clement an out, doesn't it? It gives Clement an out for that shocking second half, shocking 70-minute performance. He can talk about the penalty. He can try and rage everybody about the penalty and divert them from the fact that actually, do you know what? Yes, we did give away a penalty, but we were actually shit for 70 minutes. And we shouldn't even have put ourselves in that position that a penalty even mattered. That should have been a consolation. We should have been 4-5-0 up by that point from the first 20 minutes. But we didn't do. If we'd gone on and played, like we did in the first 20 for the next 50, 60 minutes, that game is done and dusted. It's 4-5-0. It's game over. And the penalty is just a consolation. But we shot ourselves in the foot by the fact that we just surrendered the momentum, sat off them, let them have the ball, gave up, basically. Airwolf, yeah, they would be howling for a penalty. Yusuf says, Rangers should come back to Morocco and recruit more young talents. You need a centre-back. We have a few names he's popping up lately. Yahir Ben Khalik, 23, 191 centimetres. That's over 6 foot in old money. His last 3 performances. Yeah, I mean, look, they are markets, mate, that Coppen is looking at. Coppen is looking at other markets because, we can't compete in the big 5 leagues. We can't sign players from Germany. We can't sign players from Spain. We can't sign players from England. We haven't got the money. He's a top guy, Peter Lovencrantz. Yeah. Excellent. Centre-back who's excellent. Ball interceptions, reads the ball trajectory really well. Excellent at aerial duels. Super good at carrying the ball up the pitch. Very skilled with feet. Well, a player worth looking at, Yusuf, obviously. Let's hope Rangers are watching tonight and they go and have a look at this lad. We have not linked up with Igman's old team. Not yet. No, we haven't, Ricky. Not yet. But look, today was disappointing. It was really disappointing. I was really hoping that we would kick on from Thursday, take it on. But the players let us down today, and the manager did. I think they both did. And I honestly don't know. Actually felt for Clement today. He fielded a cracking team, good subs, and yet drew. What more could he have done? I thought we looked tired. We always seem to after a good performance on Thursday. I mean, the one concern I'd say about the bench is that there's not a lot of depth and talent on that bench. Danilo, yes. But other than that, you look at that bench and it's not a strong bench. It's not a strong bench, is it? I mean, Cortez was poor when he came on. I was not impressed at Cortez at all. Cortez is an attacking wing player. He comes on when they're tiring, and to me, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't go and take them on. He doesn't have a run at them. He doesn't have a dart at them. He doesn't put them under any pressure. What did he do? Barron's defensive. Dessers is shit. Matondo's shit. And Ciala's a kid. Dowell is just a waste of space. King's a defender. And Danilo is the one impact player. He's the one player who can make a difference. So I think the squad lacks a lot of depth. I do think the squad lacks depth. I do think we need more players in the squad. Absolutely. 100% we do. You can't coach effort and stamina. You certainly can't. You can coach fitness, though, Stephen. You can get them fitter. We asked for the same team. We got it. We just weren't good enough on the day. I mean, yeah, look, before anyone comes on and says, you know, that I'm being arrogant here, it's entitlement FC, all this shit, I'll be honest. I thought Hibs played well. The 70 minutes, Hibs played well. Did Hibs deserve a point? Yes, Hibs deserved a point today. Should, absolutely. We're in trouble for the Dundee game. Barron is no replacement for Raskin, and the defence is a shambles. I've got to say, I fully agree with that one. Shouldn't look tired. We absolutely agree with that one. We should be taking the adrenaline from the Celtic game and taking it into this game. I think the momentum in the game changed, and Clement should have changed it sooner. I agree. However, he didn't have many options. Yefte, for example, was awful, but we loaned out our option at left back. We certainly did. But yeah, I mean, there is changes he could have made. I mean, he could have brought Danilo on and put two up top. You know, there is changes he could have made there. Absolutely. This is his shit. Absolutely. Where's McCausland? I don't know. Perhaps he's injured. He's injured. Yeah, he is injured. Again, he does seem to be getting injured an awful lot, Ross McCausland, at the moment, doesn't he? But look, I mean, coming out of today's game, I'm really disappointed. I really am disappointed at what I saw, what I heard, everything like that. Guys, look, before we go, thank you for coming on. Obviously, thank you for your comments. I know it's Sunday night. I know a lot of you probably got work tomorrow. Guys, we are 19 subs away from hitting the... I've lost a sub. Great. We are 19 subs away from getting to the magic 7K mark. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please sub and help us hit that 7K mark sooner rather than later. So please obviously help us get there. Obviously do that. You get free content. You get free daily content. You know, so please obviously give the channel some support. Right. Thank you very much. As always, guys. Yeah, Scott, the season is over. It's been over for a long time. The only thing we've got to play for now is the Scottish Cup and the Europa League. But we're going to have to strengthen if we're going to do anything in those competitions. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. As always, on the way out, please like, please sub, please share, please comment, all that good stuff. And always remember, we are the people.